As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ORDO, New Delhi, organized this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. 29th January 2022, 11:30 Indian Standard Time. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General, ORDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, and Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome our guest speaker of the today's webinar, 60th edition of the webinar series, on the topic Digital Technology in Simplifying Citizen Life, Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, IAS Retd. He is the Managing Director, CSC E-Governance Services India Limited, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi, former Principal Secretary of Finance, Government of Tripura, Agartala. I wish to inform the participants and the guest speaker that, so under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence, that is Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, have organized 59 webinar series so far. Open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure, a roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Free and open source software adoption / business models. Open data platform for smart digital government. Technology imperatives, make in India for self-reliance, edge artificial intelligence. Data governance for self-reliant India. Digital India transforming governance and society. India's email service, citizen@india.indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. Ecosystem architecture for digital transformation. Education system, cyber critical infrastructure. Seizing opportunities in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy. Ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of foreign direct investment, by Dr. Dhanendra Kumar, IAS Retired, former Chairman, Competition Commission of India, and founder Chairman, Competition Advisory Services, and former Executive Director, the World Bank. Entrepreneurship and skill development, AI design pathways. The rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance. Era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis and opportunities. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research. Digital agri-tech and agri-startup perspective, health informatics network value chain, e-health systems and beyond. Leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chains. Unleash the power of citizen development for enterprises software development. E-governance models towards sustained quality services to citizen backed up by technology. Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities. Urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program. Building public digital platform using microservices and APIs. Health informatics network value chain, early childhood development, and learning. Health informatics network value chain, a healthcare startup perspective. Health informatics network value chain, clinical artificial intelligence, interface between machine learning and health informatics. Health informatics network value chain, importance of social medicine and community health in the times of health emergency. Gravity filter, a simple low-cost solution to drinking water treatment in rural India. Open source GovTech startups empowering growth with automation. Digital transformation in small enterprises and small businesses of India, challenges and opportunities. National Digital Twine Program, a need for a robust geospatial infrastructure. Industry 4.0 in MSMEs, benefits of indigenously developed CollabCAD software from National Informatics Center. Mass serialization and anti-counterfeiting solutions to fight illicit trade. Cybersecurity risk challenges and solutions, intelligence approach to reduce cyber risk. New Internet IPv6 root server toward Atmanirbhar Connected Bharat. Indian startups, reflections, and possible policy interventions needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat. Indian startups, reflections, and possible policy intervention needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat. Blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform, pathways for global trade. Robot as a service, leverage technology to solve enterprise challenges. Space startups connecting to international markets with emerging business model, enabling technologies for future vision. Vivekananda secondary education and skills development mega project, its potential impact on rural entrepreneurship and the rural economy in India. The Sports Grail, a digital sports media platform and prospects of Indian sports industry, sustainability model at a global level. Pharma 4.0, Industry 4.0 applications to pharmaceutical manufacturing, path to a digital transformation. Accelerate and scale non-linear growth through partner ecosystem. Technological renaissance and the human capital, a perspective. Health informatics network value chain, medical outreach, challenges versus potential. Beyond COVID-19, revitalizing micro and small enterprises, project management essential, launchpad for future CEOs and startup founders beyond. Society 5.0, a new society beyond Industry 4.0 and the post-COVID-19 by the former Managing Director, Sharp India Limited. Smart Village / Connectivity, the African ICT / IoT lesson. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Pragmatic base for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Democratization of essential services by using sustainable energy as a catalyst. Transforming India through relevant education and vocational training. Today is the 60th edition of this very important webinar series. We will have the talk by our guest speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, IAS retired, Managing Director, CSE E-Governance Services India Limited, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi, and former Principal Secretary Finance, Government of Tripura, Agartala. And very important topic, digital technology in simplifying citizen life. Dear participants, please note the keywords: digital technology, simplification, and citizen life. Atmanirbhar Bharat, the road ahead. This is the vision of Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, and based on 5 pillars: economic, quantum jump, not incremental; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; systems, 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography and demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. This was announced on 15th May 2020. Vocal for local to make it global. This is another clarion call given by our honorable Prime Minister. This is based on demand-based economy system, which is self-producing and self-consuming, facilitating make in India, make for India, make by India, and make for global. The reforms announced have been systematic, planned, integrated, interconnected, and futuristic for creating strong enterprises, generating employment, and robust supply chain. This is our intent. This is where the common services centers of the country have a large role to play. Digital technology in simplifying citizens' life. Let us understand. How does the digital government become better government? I would like to quote a report from Ernst & Young, written by Arnold Bertrand. It was published on 10th April 2019. Digital transformation is a public sector imperative. We examine 5 critical areas where the governments can harness digital technologies to create better outcomes for citizens. 1. Understand their citizens better and achieve better outcomes. Provide services more effectively and efficiently. Find new solutions to policy challenges. Engage with external partners to develop new delivery models. Commercialize some public services and develop fresh resources of revenue. And yet, despite some pockets of excellence in innovation, most governments are lagging behind the corporate world in harnessing the power of digital. A recent report from the World Economic Forum labels governments the dinosaurs of the digital age: slow, lumbering, and outdated. According to World Economic Forum's 2016 Network Readiness Index, which assesses digital advancement, the gap is widening between the growth in individuals' ICT use and government's engagement in the digital economy. To build a public sector that is fit for the future, the government must reinvent itself. Digital transformation is not just about new technologies, but requires an overhaul of organizational structures, governance, work processes, culture, and mindset. It also means realizing a wider vision of relationship and business models that will redesign how public services function. Only then will governments capture the wider benefits of the digital transformation can bring to people and society. To create this digitally enabled public sector of the future, the governments have 5 critical areas to consider. Customer experience, making it easier to use government services. Public value, optimizing the return on public investment. Citizen security, keeping people, information, and strategic interests safe. Keeping people, information, and strategic interests safe. Future workforce, improving capabilities in the public sector and reimagining work. Smart infrastructure, helping societies and economics to function better. This is from the Ernst & Young report. Another report I would like to quote, which has been widely popularized, 10 ideas to transform the government's digital relationship with the citizens, public services focused on citizen needs. This is from uxplanet.org, dated 3rd January 2022. Putting the citizen at the center of everything. Unify the relationship between the state and citizen. Ending the technology autonomy of organizations. Centralize all technical teams. Separate strategy from policy. Define transversal process and practices. Adopt open source methodology apart from open source technologies. Revolutionize the languages of the state. Comply with the digital accessibility laws. Foster collaboration and participation. A digital citizen is a person using information technology in order to engage in society, politics, and government. This is according to the definition available in wikipedia.org. Objectives of digital welfare policies are efficiency, effectiveness, and good governance. Objective of digital welfare policies are efficiency, effectiveness, and good governance, according to the report from OECD.org. And they talk about that strategy, services, and data. Data means public data, open public data, and data registries. It means that key operators of joint data is public data, open public data, and data registries. Key operators of joint services, common platforms, enablers, and services. And welfare sectors means ministries, regions, and local government. Coherent digitization of welfare areas. Coherent digitization of welfare areas, not vertical silos. Strategy for transformation through the use of ICT. Digital India program. The Digital India program aims to transform India into a knowledge-based economy and a digitally empowered society. On 20th February 2019, the Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, popularly known as METI, published a report titled India's $1 trillion Digital Opportunity in collaboration with McKinsey and Company. This report identified about 30 digital themes. If scaled up nationally, can accelerate India's progress in 9 key areas. Now it is 2022. There is a need to undertake a study on the operationalization of this ministry's report. Digital world, the rise of platform economy. Platform economy is the tendency for commerce to increasingly move towards and favor digital platform business models. The platform economy provides an opportunity for SMEs and startups. Digital platform economy is emerging, and digital ecosystem are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. Frontier technologies in the digital ecosystem in the planet are cloud computing, mobile phones, IoT platforms, social media, GPS, advanced human computer interactions, authentications and intrusion detection, 3D printing, smart sensors, augmented reality, wearable devices, and analysis of big data and advanced algorithm, and user data collection. According to a report in 2020, that 10 emerging technologies which made an impact in the digital world. Which are they? Artificial intelligence, 5G, IoT, serverless computing, biometrics, artificial, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, and robotics, natural language processing, and quantum computing. Metaverse is a parallel universe where human, augmented, and virtual realities are supposed to merge. Digital transformation or building public digital platform using microservices and APIs. What is the ecosystem which we have in the country? The India is aiming at establishing agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0. Agriculture 4.0 means to facilitate 14.5 crore operational holders, of which 85% are small and marginal operational holders. Industry 4.0, India has got about something like 63 million MSMEs to be digitally enabled in order to occupy the space left by Chinese small scale SMEs. And Society 5.0. Industry 4.0 came from German and Society 5.0 is coming from Japan. Let Agriculture 4.0 come from India. On December 4th, 2021, we had a talk on Society 5.0, a new society beyond Industry 4.0 and post-COVID-19 by Mr. Tomio Isoge-san, the former managing director, Sharp India Limited. On 4th November 2021, Shri Krishna Mishra, a global Asoka fellow, talked about that democratizing the future of farming a global experience. And on 8th January 2022, Raman Magsaysay Award winner 2011, Dr. Harish Hande, he talked about democratization of essential services by using sustainable energy as a catalyst. Democratization of technology. What do you mean by democratization of technology? It means placing the power of technology in everyone's hands. Technology, democratization places powerful capabilities with the people in operations, maintenance, contract centers, and back office functions. And democratization, a necessary disruption in enterprise IT. And this is making composable ERP for a composable enterprises, multi-experience development platforms using low-code, no-code platform and micro app architecture, and self-service integration platform and API economy, and headless software as a service. And learning from COVID-19, going forward, democratization of technology is a must. And apart from being an unparalleled crisis, it is a unique opportunity for the world to enhance efforts around technology democratization so that we can collectively be prepared to take on future challenges. According to the World Economic Forum, among the many inequalities exposed by COVID-19, the digital divide is not only one of the starkest, but also among the most surprising. And fintech companies, fintech using fintech to democratize financial services. There are 2 billion people in the world that live outside our financial systems. In India, JAM Trinity refers to the government of India's initiative to link Jantan accounts, mobile number, Aadhaar cards of Indians to plug the leakages of government subsidies. Pradhan Mantri Jantan Yojana completed 7 years on 28 August 2021. And the Union Ministry of Finance said that over 430 million accounts have been opened under the scheme as on August 18, 2021. Data democratization is very important. That's why public data and open public data and data registries are supposed to be made democratized in this country. This is what our Right to Information Act says so. Data plays a crucial role in informing public policies and decision making. Having representative and inclusive data is important because it provides the foundation upon which public policies are designed, implemented, funded, and monitored. Common services centers. Common services centers are physical facilities for delivering Government of India's e-governance services to rural and remote locations where availability of computers and internet was negligible or most absent. They are multiple service single point model for providing facilities for multiple transactions at a single geographical location. CSCs are the access points for delivery of essential public utility services, social welfare schemes, health care, financial, education, and agriculture services, apart from the host of B2C services to citizens in rural and remote areas of the country. It is a pan-India network catering to regional, geographic, linguistic, and cultural diversity of the country, thus enabling the government's mandate of a socially, financially, and digitally inclusive society. In the financial year 2021, the number of centers within the Common Services Center scheme in rural as well as urban areas of India reached 4.3 million. And the scheme was initiated in 2009 by the Indian Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology to provide facility centers for government e-services, according to a report published by Statista Research Department, 7th May 2021. CSC schemes are a strategic cornerstone of Digital India program. Open government, open technology, open data, open strategy, open innovation, and democratization of services will facilitate simplifying citizen life. With this background, let us now turn to the address by our guest speaker, Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, IAS retired, Managing Director, CSE Governance Services Limited, India Limited, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, New Delhi, and former Principal Secretary of Finance, Government of Tripura, on the topic digital technology in simplifying citizen life. This topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching our telecast through facebook.com Shobhit University India, or youtube.com Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com company Shobhit University, for motivating them to get inspired for undertaking agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0, and society 5.0 digital technology in simplifying citizen life at the grassroots level, that is 2.25 lakhs gram panchayat in India. The university is very much interested to work with the CSCs in agriculture, MSMEs, and health, education, and e-governance, facilitating digital transformation at grassroots level. Let me introduce our guest speaker to the participants of the webinar series. Mr. Manish, can you display the profile? Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi belongs to Indian Administrative Service 1981 of Manipur Tripura cadre. He worked in the Tripura state in various capacities as Secretary Education and Principal Secretary Finance. He has also worked as Director in the Banking Division, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. He was custodian of Special Court 1992 Harshad Mehta scam in the Finance Ministry. He has been Director on the Board of Syndicate Bank, United Bank of India, and Indian Bank. He has also been Director on the Board of Financial Institutions such as Small Industries Development Bank of India. Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi has worked as a Chief Executive Officer with Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services, New Delhi. Presently, Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi is working as Managing Director of CC E-Governance Services India Limited, a special purpose vehicle promoted by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I welcome Dr. Dinesh Kumar Tyagi, IAS retired, to address the international webinar series on open source digital technology for self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on the topic digital technology in simplifying citizen life. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar, and thank you so much, Professor Moni. I think most of the things which are required in the digital space has been covered by you, very lucidly covered, explained, and all the components, both on policy, structure, the future roadmaps. I think you have very well covered and stated those points. It makes life easy for me to try and take the agenda forward of digital India, simplifying life. Digital technology, how does it simplify life of a citizen? See, the digital India is little different. Historically, the evolution of digital programs in India started with computerizations, computers being put up into government offices. And that is how started initially. Later on, these computers were then some part of the government processors start digitizing, and the focus on the policy which was initially done on the National E-Governance Division, what called NEGP, National E-Governance Plan, was focusing on infrastructure development, the state data center, the SWAN, the state wide area network. That was a large focus. I think most of the resources were deployed in creating infrastructure which can be then used to try and enable take digital inclusion in that part of the story. The real story of digital India beginning after 2014. I think it started redefining itself in the process. The focus shifted from infrastructure. The infrastructure became one component, and the 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 largely the emphasis was on how to make life simpler for people who lives in remote locations. How do we try and address the concerns of those people in various aspects of life, whether they deal with government or they don't deal with government. That is how the focus is now also on inclusive growth. Digital India focuses not on computerization, not on process reengineering, but I think its focus is on creating an inclusive society, an empowered and inclusive society, which which has an access to almost everything, and also brings the reduces the gap between those who have the technology and the information and those who do not able to get these technology and information. The as Professor Moni explained that The initiative for Digital India is very ambitious. In the process of simplifying life, it also happens that they envisage that by 2025, the Digital India program, which are being started in various format, will lead to a 5 trillion economy in that sense. Uh, as I mentioned, the program of Digital India enhances connectivity, financial inclusion, and access to trade and public services with real-time transparency, which is required to be done. So, Digital India is all encompassing. It focuses on largely focuses on the people who lives in villages, how to enable, empower, and include them in the digital world and the digital space. And every program and every support and every initiative is looking into that direction of simplifying life for people. Next. The another impetus to the Digital India program came from COVID. COVID, of course, has a lot of challenges. I think COVID also threw a lot of opportunities. A large number of opportunities came during the COVID time. The slow pace of acceptance and assimilation of digital technology, especially in rural India, where you have a large chunk of population who is still not educated or semi-educated, there to assimilate digital technology will have taken longer period. I think COVID accelerated the pace of assimilating the digital technologies and use of digital technologies within the community. And most of the people, whether old and young, who had initially never used or were not even keen to use the technology for their own daily life activity, started using it. So COVID that way is will be remembered in terms of the widespread expansion of digital programs and its acceptance within the community at a larger pace as compared to what normally government would have done through its own means and do that part of the work. Some of the program which is started by the government of India also helped quite a lot. I think the government programs of DBT, direct benefit transfer, where the amount goes directly into the account of the beneficiary, also created an environment in which the beneficiary has to use digital tools or get an access to digital tools to get this amount. So he has to open an account that is digitally. He has to get an Aadhaar number, which is also digital, and he also need to then withdraw the money, also digital. So all the digital part of the work and its acceptance within the community get enhanced to the instrument of using these mediums of DBT. And DBT, of course, has a larger benefit of creating transparency within the community of and also making the benefit reach directly without intermediaries. Similarly, the application of the Arogya Setu, the CoWIN app, and Umang are other instruments which has also made life easy for people to try and access services wherever they're living in. Pandemic has helped quite a lot in creating and also enabling private sector initiatives to come forward in creating infrastructure, making applications which are conducive for them to reach to the customer in an environment where the physical reach was getting difficult. So COVID also created a lot of innovations into the ecosystem of digital world. And these innovations are focusing on how to reach the customer, how to satisfy the customer, how to meet the requirements of the customer. And that has done a lot of work within the period of the COVID. So COVID is another instrument which has helped quite a lot in terms of what has happened to the society. What are the benefits of digital system in Digital India program? Digital program, as Professor Moni said, started in 2015 and has made significant improvement in delivery of services to citizens and in almost all walks of life. That is right. It also brings transparency. It also reduces undue benefits being given to intermediaries in delivering services, and the poor gets the right amount which is due to him without any intermediation cost. The services are real time. They are more transparent. They can be monitored and made accountable in the sense of both the beneficiary as well as those who are delivering those services. It also benefited the society in terms of creating learning environments which are different because the schools were closed during COVID time. Distance learning has also opened up, and use of the technology for enabling people to learn. Otherwise, we were only teaching them. I think from teaching to learning, or teaching to creating an environment for people to learn, or ability to learn, that is the transformation has taken place in terms of using digital tools and technology in the recent times, especially in India. Uh, Professor Mani did mention about the common service center. These are access points, and these access points are operated and managed by local entrepreneur. They have the basic computing infrastructure, they have the connectivity, and they are also willing to get into the space of creating a social enterprise by delivering services to citizens. That is how the common service ends. So these are social enterprises. We have more than 450,000 of them. Around 450,000 of these social enterprises set up and operated by men and women across the country who deliver services using digital tools and technologies. They largely serve the rural India, where there are people who are still not very keen to get the service uh, availed themselves, but they need assisted format. So these are actually assisted formats of delivery of services to citizen who either is in disinclined or unable for some reason, or is having hesitancy in using the technology still, because despite various constraints which exist in the digital space, especially of that nature. The CSCs serve that gap and fill up that gap for the society in trying meeting the requirements. Common service centers, as I mentioned, uh, employ a large number of people. They have about the average, I think, is about 4 people on average. So about 1.6 million people are employed, given rural employment. So common service centers are not only social enterprise meeting the requirement, aspirations, the community where they work, but also create local employment. So serving the purpose of what is said, Atmanirbhar Bharat or vocal for local. I think both the things are. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not the Atmanirbhar Bharat of the nature which is normally talked about. Atmanirbhar Bharat is creating self-reliant ecosystem within the community on the concept of Gandhi's Gram Swaraj, where people are able to access everything what they want, live peacefully within the community, and try and create an economy which becomes self-sustaining in that sense. So the digital tools and technology today are helping us to build both Gram Swaraj of Gandhi's vision and Atmanirbhar Bharat, based on the Government of India's concept of it is not inward looking. It is not a concept of inward looking. It's a concept of creating self-reliant communities able to access various services and get empowered and inclusive as any part of the other part of the society is. So this is a little different from what normally Atmanirbhar Bharat look like to outside world, but this is an inclusive society focus Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have, of course, Aadhaar and Bheem, which is also done, a DigiLocker for enabling people to not use physical papers, and they can put all their documents into a DigiLocker, and which can be used by any service provider when they want to use that part of them. Digital health is another one which has started, I think, which is COVID has also started suddenly focusing more on health, especially in countries like India, where health was not getting its due despite the various structures. I think COVID did put an emphasis on health and use of technology for health. The first time in India, uh, after the COVID only, the guidelines of telemedicine were brought out by the government. Otherwise, the teleconsultation was being done, but there were no guidelines. So the COVID did help us in getting the teleconsultation becomes an integral part of healthcare, and that has helped solve quite large number of problems. I think some of the teleconsultation apps which are developed by government has been used extensively by people, and they do, especially in rural India where the doctors are not available, and that is the reason why these teleconsultations helps quite a lot in serving the community. The health records is another area where the government is working to create the system. Most of the centralized digital framework, which Professor Mani mentioned about the platforms, I think these are platforms which are used. Aadhaar is a platform, but Aadhaar became the fundamental base on which transparency and most of the other products are developed. Identification was one problem in India. Wherever you go, they used to get an identification from you, and the Aadhaar solved that problem quite a lot. The KYC problem got rolled, it solved, it became simple, it is easy, and it also reduces duplication and other part which happen. So Aadhaar is one great instrument which has been designed, developed, and implemented in government. Aadhaar also has shown that Aadhaar can help us to monitor large programs like the vaccination program. So Aadhaar becomes a basis for vaccination, reminding people, identifying people who are still not covered, or those who are partly covered, is feasible today because there's an Aadhaar, there's a base of Aadhaar. Aadhaar has also helped in financial inclusion quite a lot. I think without Aadhaar, it would have not been possible to create a financially inclusive society. The initial programs of creating accounts was very cumbersome, and even withdrawal was cumbersome. As after the independence of after more than 70 years of independence, we have only 60,000 branches of banks in rural India, and we have more than 600,000 villages in India. It would have been impossible to serve every village community wherever they live through the traditional branch network system, and that has been overcome by using the Aadhaar enabled payment system. Today, a girl or a boy with a Android mobile phone and a biometric device can help the community to withdraw the money, deposit the money, transfer the money, get a mini statement, and also do the balance inquiry. So all these functions can be now performed without a physical branch, and Aadhaar being a basis. So if you have a Android phone, a biometric device, and a connectivity, then you can actually do all that activity within the community and serve them. There are a large number of people who has got benefited because of this. Many of the people who got money transferred to the account, where the accounts were opened, but to get the money out of the account was still a big challenge for them, and especially rural India. Some were old, some were sick, some couldn't even go and move around, and some has the branch access very long distance away from their place where they were used to live. All these physical distance, inability because of your own problems, physical or otherwise, has been now substantially reduced by using the modern technology tools or digital tools which are now around Aadhaar. Aadhaar enabled payment system is very transformative and is a great instrument of creating digital inclusive society. And that is how it has simplified life for people. I think simplification in life for people using this platform of Aadhaar has been a great instrument and will go a long way in making things easy, accessible, transparent, accountable, and do large scale projects in India within shortest possible time. We have, of course, the other UPI, which has started with the NPCI, which has been also a great revolution. And initially, interoperability was a big question mark. The ATM's numbers were very low, and the only way to do an interoperable, if you have a bank account of one bank, then you cannot get the transaction done through another bank outlet unless that was a problem. This UPI has enabled and simplified life for interoperability of any bank account, and with the new fintechs coming, it has also make life easy for wallet interoperability. I think this is a great moment. Wallet interoperability makes life. This also simplifies life for business, also people who do small ticket transactions. They also life is easy. uh, they also get into mainstreaming. See, the what was the problem was that mainstreaming of small and medium enterprise was a big challenge. They were doing transaction, but they couldn't be mainstream into the economy. They couldn't get the benefit, or they couldn't get the benefit of access to credit because they were not mainstreaming. Their accounts were not visible to the lenders. They couldn't even make an assessment, clear assessment. The UPI and UPI based transactions helps assessing the credit worthiness. of these organizations by lenders, and the lenders are able to lend money. And that is the reason why we see, despite the COVID problems and the and of course there are other issues relating to COVID. The growth in credit has taken up significantly now, and it has the growth in credit is largely because simplification in process of an extending credit. That is how it has happened, and that simplification has happened revolving around the technology, use of technology. So technology per se has simplified the MSME's life. It has simplified the life of common man. It has also simplified people who want to use the health as a segment in that sense, and also simplified the life of farmers to a great extent, because even the farmer community can now access a large number, whether ENAM or whether it's the weather forecasting access to them, or selling products online, or getting access to credit in that sense, or is easy, and they can use technology which can make easy accessible in that sense. The eShram is another project which has happened recently, and the unorganized labor is very large in India, and there were no database existing for unorganized labor, and that's why the benefit to such an organized labor which does have a single database was becoming very difficult, and it was not monitored. The government of India, using an Aadhaar, has now created a single database for unorganized workers, and these are already within a short period of time. So look at, like, within 3 months, 40 million. Within 3 months, no, 400 million. Out of 400 million, about 250 million has already been covered within 3 months period. But that remarkable achievement of registering such a large number of people from diverse culture across the country is possible because there is a digital tool and technology available, and largely focusing on Aadhaar. So you have this simplification. Once you have this 400 million of these unorganized labor database in a single place, what a thing you can do. You can actually address all concerns of these labor, design programs for helping them, supporting them, identifying, upskill them. It can be phenomenal. But these are all feasible because you're using digital tools and technology, so that, and the labor also doesn't have even the movement of the labor. If he moves from one place to another place, he doesn't have to get a labor registration card. That card is single. The unique number will help him even movement. So it helps in the migration of labor from one place to another. He can access all the benefits which he want to do, and that part of the work can do with one nation, one ration card. He can even have the benefit of partly deriving the ration for the place where he shifted from the original place of living. So there's a phenomenal work which has happened. I think these are all simplifying life. All these platforms, which Professor Moni said, are used for the purpose of benefiting and simplifying life for people. And these platforms are great in that sense. Let's look at what do the people expect. What are the expectations? What do the various segments of the society did do expect out of this? I once went to a college, and I was addressing some of the students, about 400 of them, and I asked them, have you gone to a government office? About 80% of them raised their hands. They have gone to the government office. Then I asked them, will you like to go second time to the government office? All of them shouted no. That the aspiration of young generation is to get service delivered to his own place. He doesn't want to go to government office. So the initial focus of the government to make government offices clean, neat, computerized, front end very well done is not required. That is not the aspiration and expectations of people. I think the aspirations of the new generation is that if goods can be supplied on cash on delivery, if I can get a fridge or a refrigerator or a computer cash on delivery by online, why can't you give me a service also cash on delivery? Why can't I just write my application online, send it to you, you send it and get a payment for it? I don't mind paying them. And some of them started doing it. It started in Delhi, started in Chhattisgarh. Some states are now started doing delivery of government services, like the former delivery of goods or cash using the technology platform. That is the best thing which can happen in simplifying. That will also create a lot of confidence of the community and government, and the relationship between the government functioning and the community will enhance significantly. The otherwise the community think the government is different and we are different. And the government also doesn't leave government servant, but they leave government boss and government supervisor. They are the boss, or they are the king, and these are servants, or these are the one which are to be served by them. That relationship get diversified. That relation get redefined in the fashion which is being done. Unfortunately, this is happening in India, that many of the government services, whether it's a ration card or a trans or a license for any matter, you are driving license or that matter, or a passport application will come to your house. You don't have to go to that office to get that work done, and that is fantastic. That's unimaginable, but that is all possible because of the use of technology. And the government of India emphasis is to use technology in making life simple for people, that they can access everything wherever they are without physically visiting any government office, which will solve a lot of problems. And this is the way the government of India's digital transformation is now getting addressed in that sense. uh, there are, of course, as I mentioned, there are programs for women, which are one segment of the society which is still need to get almost equated. Gender equality for digital inclusion is also very important. You need to address that part. One can't ignore. And the government, of course, has started digital literacy programs, and which is called the Prime Minister Gramin Digital Sakshata Abhiyan, which is training about 60 million of people in basic digital literacy. The idea was that once they get digitally literate, their family will get digitally literate, and they'll be able to access digital tools and technology with the government is designing to simplify their life, or upskilling themselves in getting better employment potential, which is existing in India. That is how the program are designed. And fortunately, more than 50% of the people who are covered under the digital literacy program, out of the 600 million which I mentioned, uh, about of the 60 million which are to be covered, we almost covered about 30 million of them. And out of 30 million, more than 50% are women. So the women has aggressively come forward in order to learn this part of the work. So women is getting benefited. They are more vocal now. They have expressing their rights, and they also have an ability to try and learn quite a lot. There are a lot of women who have started learning skills, sitting in the home in villages, and try and getting some value proposition for them, whether it's related to agriculture activity, allied activity in agriculture, or something relating to tailoring or something of that nature, weaving clothes or something that nature. But I think the existing digital infrastructure help quite a lot in enhancing their skills. The initial thought process of that they have to be called to a classroom and then taught has suddenly disappearing. So what is being enabled is that you learn of your learn. So the objective is making them learn to learn, is what the skilling is being done in technology. If we can enable them, and the common service centers plays a great role in enabling people to learn. And because the tools and technology is available, how do you access those tools and how to learn yourself is what is being done. So the women is being addressed. I think women is one segment of the society which is very important for all of us, and that is being addressed through digital literacy, entrepreneurship programs, and also the programs which are focusing largely on women for skill upgradations. The second on students. Students is also one community. If you look at the Indian figures, Indian data, only 35% of Indian students got into college admission. Rest of them did not even get an admission to a college. That is unfortunate. It's such a large segment of society which students are left out. What do we do them? How do they upskill themselves? If that is the, and of course, if there is a significant amount of dropout, there are people who are weak in studies, who fail in studies. They get out of it. The traditional system of education done by government, and not only India but all over the world, looks after those who go to school, but it does not really focuses and put emphasis on those who are out of the school, or those who are unable to go to school for some reason. I think that today, in the common service centers, we are looking after that segment of the society in education. We are looking after children who are weak in studies, who fail in studies, the girls who are unable to go to school or college for some reason, social or economic, otherwise, and those who are unwilling to go to school or college. So that segment of society, if they want to learn something, if they want to upskill them, the CSC provides a platform. So they can, near the center, which is existing close to the place where they live, they may not be full classroom. They may be one student want to learn something on data analytics or artificial intelligence. So we enable that one student to learn in that center. We provide tools enabling them to learn. We do certification programs for them, and they can learn. So they can upskill them. Somebody want to learn an IIT Mumbai course, which is there, which is also can be learned. So you can learn everything possible which an urban area gets an access to by visiting a common service center, as long as your inclination and of course the ability of the common service center to mobilize and create a confidence that you can come to the center, you will learn, it will be as good as anywhere else in the world. That is how it is created. So see, education is very focused area. I think a lot of work is done on education in the common service centers. As I mentioned, almost everything for class 3, 5, 8, 10, 12, colleges, high education, new emerging technology courses on data analytics, artificial intelligence, either done through IIE or Boston Consulting or to Indian School of Business Hyderabad or to IIT Mumbai. They're all available in the CSE format of delivery. They are delivered digitally. Their examination take place digitally in the remote proctoring examination system, which we designed. The exam take place where they live in, and so that they don't have to travel for exam. Because in India, in rural India, many people can't even go to the exam centers because the exam centers are very far away. So if you can create a system where they can live and get an exam done, that is fantastic. So that's what the education is being done. I think most aspects of education for communities who live in rural India through the digital process is being addressed through the common service centers. The next, of course, is there are senior citizens who always have been challenged to move in the life at the pace. Today, senior citizens are also finding it very difficult. In urban areas, of course, there are many of these service providers have come up who are looking at geriatric care, who are also looking at supporting senior citizens. With the family becoming very nuclear and the initial structure which is existing in India slowly and slowly transforming into a different world. It is now possible to use technology and the emergence of new service providers to look after senior citizens. So we are also now designing some course on digital literacy for senior citizens because they also need to you understand and use. They are the one which are most difficult to use. They are most difficult to adopt to the new technology. How do we try and take care of them in order to tell them, teach them, make them learn and understand and appreciate that digital tools and technology can help in making their life better than what they are. So that is also being done. So senior citizens are being taken care of, and of course, many of them get their money, which is transferred to their accounts for various pension or otherwise. They can go to the common service center, help them to withdraw the money. Our entrepreneur goes to their house and help them to withdraw the money. They can get that part. The next, of course, is the farmers. I think we now building a comprehensive framework for farmers from everything possible which a farmer done. Most of the government of India programs for farmers like a PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, Soil Health Card, KCC card, they all can be they all have been now being enabled through CSEs. So a farmer can access or can get these facilities through the Common Service Center, fill up the form, register themselves, and get the outcome decided for that format. Then the input supplies, most of the input supplies, whether seeds and fertilizers, we are one of the largest supplier of nano urea, which is recently designed by IFCO through Common Service Center. It's easy. It's easy to procure by the entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur then also try and convince the farmer community to use nano urea in place of the other urea. We also giving equipment leasing to some of them. A new equipment, if somebody can't have access to equipment for farm community, then the equipment leasing can be done. And of course, we help them in some kind of storage facility being created through FPOs, where the storage also of the grains can be done. And then finally design something of the nature where their output can be sold. We have actually helped them quite a lot by using technology in designing something where we last year we sold the lychee of Bihar to London and the pineapple of Tripura to Dubai using the same technologies. And it was very amazing thing. So this process of helping farmers sell internationally can be done largely using technology, because the buyer and the seller are connected through platforms, and they decide the rate. They agree for a rate. They agree for the crop and the quality of crop, and the crop is then procured and taken by the buyer or the intermediary who helps the buyer to procure and send it across to where I want to sell. So the common service centers also are helping the farm community in that sense, in looking after their life. So as I said, the digital tools and technology in India addresses concerns of everyone, whether it's a student, whether it's a newborn baby who needs some support for vaccination, whether it's the mother, the pregnant woman, who is also helped digitally now in terms of getting whatever inputs are required, whatever feed materials are required, or precautions are required in order to take care of child and also our own health. Then, of course, the school, the child goes to school, the admission to school, the competitive exam which take place for school admission, also enabled through the common service. So, the digital tools. Navodaya Vidyalaya school admission, class 6 and class 9, the competitive exams, we make we make mock test for children and sell it very cheap rates. Student in villages can undergo those mock tests and then appear for Navodaya Vidyalaya school admission, which is a for the viewers who are outside. Navodaya Vidyalaya school admission in India is very prestigious, especially for poor community, because it's all free. It is all hostel, food, and all the fees are given free to students. So if student gets in Navodaya Vidyalaya, his life is made. His family doesn't have to really bother, and we help them using the digital tools in order to them. The other party, when they want to go to schools and colleges, we can help them. Those who are unable to go to school, college, they can do it through our system and learn whatever they want. Basic digital literacy, higher CSC or BCC programs or NALET programs, and then do other part of the story of whatever he want to learn. And we, of course, now a lot of skilling programs now available in our system, where a person can do some basic skilling programs on digital marketing. On a lot of people have actually done a lot of work on in villages and earned money through digital marketing, and they use even the CSCs as a base to do marketing. Their number of subscriber in their YouTube channel is so phenomenal. They earn quite a lot of money in that sense. But there are innovations has happened. The digital tools and technologies have helped innovation in rural India, enabling people who are not very highly educated or not even IIT chaps, and also to make a living out of this. This is what is simplifying life in that sense for common people through CSC. So CSCs and the Digital India program are instruments or of this part of the work. The two things which always remains a concern, one of course is the connectivity remains a concern, but fortunately government of India, the new program of BharatNet, which say that there'll be optical fiber in every village. All the 600,000 villages will have optical fiber within 1,000 days, which are announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, will address the connectivity issues to a great extent. If there is a good quality connectivity, the distinction between rural and urban will disappear significantly. The ability of villagers who are quite intelligent, only access is not there, who are as bright as anybody in the urban areas or anybody who reads into urban colleges, they're as good as very innovative, and they live in the environment where they live in. Their potential to create these innovations and use them for daily life improvement is significant, and we have seen this across, which is happening around. So the connectivity will strengthen. Fortunately, the power issue has been solved quite a lot. The connectivity, power, and of course, the other part is skilling the manpower in order to use the technology for empowering them. One of the issues which still remains is the logistic part, especially in rural India. A very good logistic system uh, for rural India, where the commodities which are to be sold or procured a very small quantity, and you need to build a very efficient logistic system. I think Government of India is now trying to build similar to UPI a platform for logistic, which will cater to the needs of logistic in rural India. So this platform, any service provider can use and try and cater to the requirements of those who want to procure goods and services from them. An efficient logistics system using technology can improve quality of life for people in rural India significantly. So what will happen is that the migration will stop. Migration will get reduced. It won't stop, but it will get reduced substantially. People will prefer to live into a rural environment, which is safe, secure, and also very good in that sense, very healthy atmosphere. The environment is very good. They will love to live there as long as it's similar facility. There's also an opportunity for a lot of these people who want to visit rural India for a break. Tourism get enhanced significantly. If you have connectivity and power and good quality water supply, the tourism to rural India will enhance significantly. A lot of people, not only from India but also from abroad, will go to rural India, be in villages, live for some time, and enjoy the culture which is there. In that sense, so, in brief, I think I would like to submit that the Government of India initiative for Digital India is largely for simplifying life of common man, and the common man, especially the one who lives in the villages, and all the efforts, whether it's building a platform or whether it's building technologies or whether it's building connectivity of BharatNet, is focusing on enabling that to happen, so that these people who are in villages are able to access, or able to access similar to what a person in urban area is able to access. Once this divide disappears, the world will look different, and I think we will have the real impact of digital technologies on simplifying life for people. So thank you so much for inviting me, and it has been a great. Professor Mani has been always a scholar in that sense, where a lot of policy frameworks been designed. You have been pioneer in some of the efforts which we are now doing it, and you have been a great support for CSC. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And can you come out of the presentation one time? Thank you very much, Dr. Dinesh Kumar ji, Tyagi ji, for your very wonderful, innovative, and impressive and provocative address in many aspects. That why I use the word provocative, in the sense that it is all happening and at the grassroots level, and why we are not terming this as Society 5.0 initiative, because the whole world is working on such brand avatar. I said agriculture 4.0, industry 4.0, society 5.0, and India can lead the whole whole world in many aspects. And we have to not only using the digital tools and technology, and we also have to give brand to the whole world. And it's like is a part of Vishwa Group, and I'm very happy that that's why I after listening to you, even though we have been part and parcel of the program. I was in the government structure for more than 35 years. Way back from 1987, I was the man who was involved in the 512 districts computerization program called the DISNIC, District Information System Program of NIC, and 28 sectoral database development programs, plus one on village information system, present to all the district collectors conference, and that time it took place in 87, 88, 5 places: Hyderabad, Bhopal, Imphal, Jaipur, and Coimbatore. And that's how the informatics revolution in the district started. Then 85, IT and agriculture blueprint through a national conference at Vigyan Bhavan. And then, I thought that when during the whole process that, 2005, national e-governance, programs have started, and Common Services Center 2009 onwards, and also initially, and common services the at the block level in the complete northeastern region, 425 centers were started from 2000. So it is a big movement which has taken place, even though the internet was not available from 1987 onwards, but information system development was on the radar of Government of India and for the whole country, starting from the DISNIC program. And now I'm able to see the development with the advancement of technology available, and the tools are available. But the thing is that you also use the word in your last slide, potholes. With all the success, with all the efforts which we are doing it, but as a person like you only can bring out and tell the all authorities. A man from the administrative service worked in the state, you know that where the shoe pinches. And I felt very happy. I was, in your concluding thought, people at the rural area started thinking that digital infrastructure and connectivity are like roads and bridges, the language in which they can understand. Roads and bridges are very important, and now the digital roads and digital connectivity are very important. You said it very clearly. That is that your concluding thoughts. And then whether people like it or appreciate or not, that is a different matter. And the second one is that you also called it about digital potholes. It has to be, sealed. It has to be plucked out. And that's why when I initiated, I think we have not exchanged notes, but I thought that, the notes with the initial, my introductory remark, which I talked about it, I said that there are 5 areas in which the digital transformation has to be looked into it. I quoted the Ernst & Young report, and also that, 10 ideas which is needed for simplifying citizen life, how the digital technology can facilitate. And now that, that's this also, now I will add, apart from the, Ernst & Young report suggestion on 5 ideas, this, the plugging the digital potholes are also very important. Otherwise, you cannot have a return on investment. It is very important. And building digital infrastructure. You also talked about secure infrastructure. And then also mentioned about efficient logistic infrastructure. And there are umpteen number of case studies are available with your, common services centers. And if a thorough study is undertaken with respect to each common services center, their challenges, their potentials, and what they have achieved, what they can achieve with the BharatNet, which is now going to 2.25 lakh gram panchayat, how many startups can come? How many innovate the common services centers? Now the concept is very good. Now they call it as startups, but on those days it is called VLE, village level entrepreneurs. And this is we have got 6.5 lakhs villages in the country, but with the common services centers, you can revolutionize the whole India, and also can be an brand avatar for the entire world, for all the developing countries, developing economies. And you very nicely explained the Digital India explained. And you also mentioned a very good title, which it was a very impressive title: COVID, Another Gear. And many people used to say that COVID has taught a big lesson, but you say that it is not only the 5-gear vehicle, but you also added, that another gear for our, digital movement, our transformation, moving towards achieving, simplifying our citizen life. It's very good that in the title which was given for that slide, I liked it very much: COVID, Another Gear. And then you also explained very in detailed manner that how it is benefiting society as a whole, and then how benefiting various subcategories of the society, be it women, be it student, be it senior citizens, be it the other citizens who would like to have the government services at the doorstep. We used to talk about paperless services, and the time has come that paper no services in government department. This is where the challenge is. We have to we have to evolve a system which is completely interoperable and in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. We need to create digital assets in the form that when the WhatsApp issue came in 2020 October, many former secretaries asked me that, Prof. Moni, you are the former DJ NICE, what is your view? I told them that are my views. They asked me to put it as an approach paper. We sent it from the university to the Home Ministry, Defense Ministry, Education Ministry, and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. I will also send it to you. It's very important. The country needs 3 important digital tools to be made available in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. And this is where the Common Services Center and university can work together. One is that in Gmail, for example, 75% of the traffic goes from India. And why can't we have Indian email software service, Indian mail software in 22 languages? It can generate umpteen number of millionaires, unicorn, startups. Our youths who are all innovative in nature can build up apps and make it available in the email software. And this is the one thing which I have noted. Second one is we have to have a video streaming software. COVID situation is another gear that this we can't. The time has come that we can't. We have to use our own homegrown software, which is rugged in nature, which should be used, which will make our innovative people, entrepreneurs, startups can become millionaires and unicorns. Third one is that we have to have a messenger software. These 3 are the important thing for making a society, completely paper no. And the fourth one, which I written, is that you have to have a sovereign control on data centers in the country. Like in US, that all CEOs of technology company reporting to the Home Secretary. In this country also, that sovereign control, the CEOs of the data center should report to the Home Secretary of India. And the data cannot be misused in the country. They will have an automation, but the data cannot be misused against the country. And this is the 4 recommendations on which I prepared a policy paper from the university and I sent it. We had a positive response from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. This is very important, and also from the Ministry of Defense, Research and Development, DRDO. So I'm very happy that you talked about thoroughly the Common Services Center from 2009 onwards till today, and how it is very important for delivering the services and at the doorstep and villages and so on and so forth. So that's why I thought that the topic should have been Society 5.0, role of common services centers, challenges versus potential. Because we have to innovate and we have to explore and various potentials which are available. And I would like to quote that the former chairman of the Hindustan Unilever Limited said it in 2009, said it in 2012. Bharat is the bigger powerhouse in India. It can generate $1.8 trillion. It can add to the GDP or equivalent to that of Indian GDP in 2012. It is still true today. True. Rural management is not taking place. We are not effectively utilize the natural resources available in the country, and we do not know the depth of agricultural resources in the country available. And if we 3 areas we concentrate at the rural in Bharat, agriculture, 14.5 crores operation holders. Where are they? What are they doing? How they can each produce which they come out is meeting the consumer preferences, and they produce with the best practices available with respect to what the soil which is available there, soil and water conditions. And second one is that how to digitalize 63 million the MSMEs. And this is and this is a very important aspect that the space which has been left by China, we have to occupy, whether it is a 5 people SME having 5 employees or SMEs having 1,000 employees. they have to be globally, empowered through digital technology. This is what European Union is doing, empowering the CEOs of SMEs as an AI leader. That's why when many people ask that, Prof. Moni, you launched a program on, MBA in Industry 4.0 technology only for training CEOs of SMEs. That if this is done, I started in 2005 a talk in MIT Chennai on digital SMEs, and today, I'm talking about that, how to digitally empower these 63 million MSMEs units in the country. And third is that we have to have an e-health, health informatics network value chain. We have a people's health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fish health. COVID-19 pandemic is due to the disease from animal. In 2012, I was instrumental in operationalizing the 7,032 locations to monitor animal disease. But afterwards, this is, after my retirement, this national animal disease reporting system is not effective. And this is where that, as a part of the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report in volume 12, as a chairman of that group, volume 12B, that 7 mission mode programs have been suggested for digital technology in agriculture. In close collaboration with the Common Services Center. And if the 7 mission mode programs of this, doubling farmers' income is operationalized, it was submitted to the government on September 2018. And that's the reason only I thought that this is on Thursday at 11 a.m. National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat. I started during this COVID situation. And it is very essential, and agriculture 4.0 has to be achieved in this country. And that's the reason only I was, with my vast experience, this university has given a space for me to establish 5 centers of excellence to promote technology in rural area. We launched the MTech in agricultural informatics and PG diploma and diploma to retrain agriculture graduates and engineering graduates and postgraduates, and available in India to rural area to retrain them to get into agriculture through IT. Second is MBA in agribusiness management to look into 400 agriculture commodity value chain in the country, which is essential. And I'm very happy that when you mentioned that you are able to make through the Common Services Center, the leach from Bihar has gone to London. It is very important. 400 agricultural commodities of the country. I'm not talking about livestock and fisheries. And and this is an important thing, that because India has got 365 days of sunshine, more than 127 agroclimatic zones in the country, which no other parts of the world has got this much agroclimatic zones. We grow agriculture commodities throughout the year. So if this is, practical culture, done, farming done according to the best practices available, and we can be the food bowl for the entire world. So this digital technology in agriculture, which is gathering, these 7 recommendations, which are gathering dust in the corridor of the Minister of Agriculture, of the and the recommendations of the doubling farmers' income. And I wish that in close collaboration with the Common Services Center, this has to go to 14.5 crores operational holders and 63 million MSMEs, and the integrated farm health management will be $1 trillion economy. India has not understood digital technologies, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and all the 10 the digital technologies which are now available can, with the new algorithms, new predictive analytics, India can take lead. I visualize that the time will come that farm health informatics network value chain can be globally empowered through digital technology.
I think it's got disconnected. or we can close that.